All right, so picture this. You're at the store, staring at the meat counter, trying to figure out which steak to grab.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about your health, your weight loss goals, and you're like, okay, grass-fed,
right,
grain-fed,
right.
What's the deal? What am I supposed to pick? Well, that is what we're diving into today.
Right.
So get ready, because by the end of this, you are going to be a steak pro.
Oh.
At least when it comes to picking the right one for, reaching those weight loss goals.
Absolutely.
We've got a really interesting study that breaks down this whole grass-fed versus grain-fed debate.
It's a good one. It really is. It's not as simple as people think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Right. It's not like, oh, this one's the magical weight loss steak.
Right. Exactly.
It's more nuanced than that.
Yeah. It's about understanding the differences between the two.
Exactly.
And then how those differences play into your individual goals.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Totally. So let's break it down. Let's start with, I guess the tail of the tape. What does the study say about the nutritional differences between these two types of steak?
Well, the first thing is you've got grass-fed, which is like the, kind of lean, mean fighting machine of the steak world.
Okay.
It's got more of those omega-3 fatty acids, more of those CLAs.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about CLAs.
Yeah.
What are those all about? I know they're good, but
Yeah, so CLAs are conjugated linoleic acids, and they're a type of healthy fat. And there's some really interesting research that suggests that the CLAs you find in grass-fed beef could actually help you improve your body composition. So, reducing fat, increasing lean muscle mass.
So like a double whammy.
Yeah, exactly. And then omega-3s, those are kind of the superstars of the fat world. They're known for fighting inflammation.
Right.
And some studies even suggest that they can boost your metabolism.
Which is what we want.
Which is exactly what you want when you're trying to lose weight.
Makes sense.
And then on the other hand, you've got grain-fed, which is like, the beautifully marbled steak. It's got that, richness that a lot of people just love the taste of.
Totally.
Yeah.
And let's be real. The marbling that fat, it does add to that flavor.
Oh, absolutely.
It's juicy, it's tender.
Yeah, that's where the flavor is.
Yeah. So, but when we're talking about weight loss, does that mean that grain-fed is off the table?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because that fat, while it is, something to be mindful of, it can actually help you feel fuller for longer.
Oh, interesting.
So you might end up eating less overall. But no matter which type of steak you choose, you've got to watch those portion sizes,
Yeah, portion control is always key.
Always key. It's about finding that balance.
Right. So when we're talking about weight loss, ultimately it comes down to calories.
Yeah.
Right? Like calories in versus calories out.
Exactly.
So where do these two types of steak stack up in the calorie department?
So it's not always as clear cut as you might think.
Okay.
Because a lean cut of grain-fed could actually be lower in calories than a fattier cut of grass-fed. So it's not just about grass-fed versus grain-fed.
Right.
It's also about the cut of meat you choose.
Right.
So opting for leaner cuts like sirloin or tenderloin, whether it's grass-fed or grain-fed, that can be a really good strategy for keeping those calories in check.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's like a double equation. It's not just the type of steak, but also what part of the cow it came from.
Cut, absolutely.
And I know that protein is super important for weight loss.
It's so crucial.
Does the study talk about how these two types of steak differ in terms of protein content?
Yeah, protein is your best friend when you're trying to lose weight because it helps you maintain muscle mass.
Right. Yeah.
And muscle is what burns calories.
Yeah.
So the more muscle you have, the more efficient your metabolism is.
So even when you're just sitting around.
Exactly.
Even at rest.
You're still burning more.
You're burning more calories.
Okay.
And when you're in a calorie deficit trying to lose weight, protein is what helps you hold on to that muscle. That's really interesting. So it's not just about cutting calories.
Right.
It's about making sure that the calories you are eating are working for you.
Exactly. You want to fuel your body properly.
Okay. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price tag.
Yeah.
Because grass-fed steak, it's often significantly more expensive.
It can be. Yeah.
So is it really worth it? Is that nutritional edge worth the extra cost for everyone?
That's a great question. And there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
It really depends on your priorities and your budget.
Right.
If you're really concerned about sustainability and, you want to support ethical farming practices, then grass-fed might be worth that extra cost for you.
Yep.
But if you're on a tight budget, a lean cut of grain-fed can still be a super healthy and effective choice for weight loss.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we want to enjoy what we're eating.
Of course.
So let's talk taste. How do these two steaks compare in terms of flavor?
So grass-fed tends to have a leaner, kind of gamier flavor.
Okay.
Some people describe it as earthy. You know, it's definitely got a distinct taste.
More like a strong flavor.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
Whereas grain-fed has that, that rich, buttery flavor because of the higher fat content.
So for people who like that melt-in-your-mouth kind of steak,
Yeah, if you're looking for that richness,
grain-fed might be the way to go.
grain-fed's probably going to make you happier.
But if someone's going for grass-fed for the health benefits, are there ways to make it taste better?
Absolutely. Marinades are your best friend when it comes to leaner cuts.
Okay.
Something acidic like lemon juice or vinegar that's going to help break down those tougher fibers, and then add some herbs and spices.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, you can really infuse a lot of flavor that way.
Yeah. And when you're cooking it, anything to keep in mind.
Don't overcook it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest mistake people make with any steak.
Right.
Grass-fed or grain-fed, you want it to be juicy and tender.
Yeah, nobody wants a hockey puck.
Exactly. So invest in a meat thermometer.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It'll take all the guesswork out of it.
Perfect. Now, before we wrap up, I'm curious how all of this fits in with different diets like keto or paleo.
Yeah, that's a good question because different diets emphasize different things, right?
Right.
So, for example, a keto diet, which is high in fat, low in carbs,
Yeah.
that might lead someone to choose fattier cuts of either grass-fed or grain-fed.
Okay.
It's more about hitting those macros.
Right.
Whereas a paleo diet, which focuses on lean protein and whole foods,
Yeah.
that might steer someone towards those leaner cuts of grass-fed.
So it really depends on
It's all about the bigger picture.
the bigger picture.
Yeah, how does this fit into your overall approach to eating?
Okay, that makes sense. So basically what we've learned is that there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Exactly.
Both grass-fed and grain-fed steak can have a place in a healthy weight loss journey.
Absolutely.
It's all about knowing the differences, considering your goals, your budget, your taste preferences, and making an informed choice.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you have it, folks. We've given you a lot to chew on, literally. But before you fire up the grill, we want to hear from you. If you had to choose just one type of steak for a month, which would it be and why?
That's a tough one.
I know, right? Head over to our social media, let us know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the everyday choices that impact our lives.